Hey everybody, I had a update to give with a video today. I had a second appointment with the DO, Doctor of Orthopedics. That is Dr. Kaluza with Rebound here in Portland or Lake Oswego. So I have the MRI results. So what happened, or what they found, what they seen was and he went over it with me on his little fancy iPad or whatever. Gave me some cutaway views of what we were looking at. Basically, there's a torn disc in my lower back, and he says that's what's causing me all the problems. There's a page and a half of doctor jargon, medical terms that I don't understand, but he said the rest was pre-existing. Again, that's his opinion. So, this is getting to be this might be the 10th video, I think. I can't remember anymore. Which means I can't keep track of what I've said before on all of them, because I've been giving updates along with catching you up if you've jumped in on like the 5th video or whatever. I try to keep doing that so people know what it's about, or I mean what they're watching, both. Anyway, so given my experience so far with this guy, from February 4th was my first contact with him, I would keep moving if I were you, based on some other information that I found or was given. So what I've been told, what I understand, is that these workman's comp claims work like a drawing, if you will, if you can imagine that. So, or a bidding. The help goes out as a bid, and whoever wins the bid is the person who ends up doing, or the people who end up doing this contract work, if you will. Lowest bidder wins. So if you're in this, or you get in this, or you wonder what's the problem, that's part of the problem. So my experience has been that for instance, I just told you that I saw him for the first time on February 4th. If you look at the other videos, you know what the other problems are. After taking the medication that he gave me for a week, it wasn't working. It wasn't dulling the pain, and now on top of it, I've got migraine headaches, and it wasn't taking those away. So what I started doing was taking an extra strength Tylenol with the prescription medicine, and that still wasn't touching it. So I was given a muscle relaxer to try with everything, and that finally barely touched the pain that I was having. this is the same varying but always there chronic pain since November when the accident, or 4 days after the accident happened. This is how much they don't care about you and your pain. I left 3 messages and some, online messages. That's how they said they wanted me to use the portal to get a hold of them. They won't return your phone calls. They won't return your messages. I had to wait 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, for the doctor to get back in town, and the appointment was this morning, and that's when we went over it. So they don't give a shit. I don't care what they tell you. They don't give a shit. If they did, they'd return communications. They'd return phone calls or messages. So it's different when they need you. When they need information from you or they need you to do something, it's different. They want you there to do it, Johnny, on the spot. So just be aware of that. So like I said, with the DO, I would keep moving. They're not going to treat you well, and neither is he. I wish I had somebody to tell you to go to, but my greatest fear was starting all over again with somebody mid-process and having a bunch more problems. So my attorney sent me a bunch of people's names within the Beaverton area, which is where I'm at now. But after giving it some thought and talking it over with some family, I just didn't think it was a good idea to do that. I've had so many problems already that it would just potentially be another problem that wouldn't get straightened out for weeks, and then I'd be missing more pay or something. So I elected to stay with this guy and finish out the process or whatever. So anyway, the findings were that I have a torn disc, and he told me this morning no surgery is needed to solve that problem. What they're going to do is right now he has 2 months, a month and a half scheduled out of PT at their clinic at Rose Quarter. And he talked this morning about he wants me to start walking 3 miles and to keep shaving time off of that until I get it to, I thought he said 45 minutes and 3 miles. Then we're going to start running or jogging. He said in 6 months I should be rehabilitated and everything should be all right, approximately. So those were the big answers that we were waiting for, or I was waiting for. Now, given that, I can take that diagnosis and that information to a third-party attorney and see what we can figure out there as far as pursuing somebody for money or whatever. Money, basically. Because not the process so much, but right off the starting line, cutting 2/3 of my pay. That's what screwed me. That's what put me behind the 8 ball. That's what got me to lose my apartment. That's what kept me from signing a new lease anywhere. That's what made me take out a personal loan that eventually I'm going to have to pay back. That's what made me use my credit cards the way that I did, even though I didn't want to. You have to survive somehow. And I'm not rich. So my nest egg, I had a small nest egg. You'll hear me talk about that in the other videos. But trying to prepare for the unknown, right, is somewhat daunting and almost impossible. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. Anyway, to each their own. Everybody's going to have to do what they have to do to live and survive, and that's what I had to do. Those were my decisions, and I don't blame anybody. I have to live with them, but it did. The trajectory was so that it put me in that position to have to make those decisions, and that's really shitty of the state of Oregon, of workers' compensation, the lawmakers who are in charge of this. It's a fucked system. Excuse my language, but it is. It doesn't matter what you do. So the only thing you can hope to is come out better on the backside. Good luck with that. But I'll keep reporting, and I'll keep sharing my information with you guys, or whoever's watching, so you can make an educated decision about whether you want to even live in the state of Oregon because of this reason. There's a pretty good chance you might be hurt on the job. This is what it involves, right? So, now I feel like we're maybe like halfway or past halfway. If you're looking at the big picture at the process, trying to plan for the future and then deciding, do I even want to live here anymore? I've told people before, it seems like Oregon has just tried to chew me up and spit me out since I've been here. It's been one thing or another, trying to get the right wage to be able to make a living, and it's expensive over here. It's last year it was the most expensive in the nation to live. Some people say, well, why did you move there? Because I didn't know. I believed my employer who brought me here from Florida to Oregon, paid for me to move, and was excited about this, that, and the other, and then dumped me on my face when I got here. So that's my fault. I take full responsibility for that. I listened to somebody who I didn't know, and I should have checked the information for myself. I did eventually check the information for myself, and that's what I found out on a national average. The other thing, too, is my health. As I get older, I think about that because some things have changed. Me living the last almost decade by water was down. If you guys remember in some of the other videos, I said I lived in Pensacola, Florida for 6 years. Everything that came off of the water blew in off of the Gulf of Mexico to the mainland. And that meant the dust from the Saharas that made it across the ocean and the sea, and or whatever, and anything that came with the the hurricanes, anything naturally was blown up into the mainland, and that's what we experienced. And again, with always being wet, you had the mold and the algae and whatever else loved those environments that you were dealing with. My system doesn't like it. That's what the conclusion I've come to. So, and then being over here, it's close enough. You're only an hour away from the ocean. It's close enough that you get the humidity in here, inland, and so we're really considering moving to a desert climate, which was where I was born, was a mountain desert climate. To start feeling better, because I don't want to start having to take medicine to feel better. I want to be in an environment that's conducive to me having a healthy life. So that's what we've discussed, and we'll see what happens. But I got to get through this first, and we're happy. It's good news that I don't have to have surgery, because I don't think I was going to anyway. Even if I did, I was going to say no. And I have my own personal reasons, but if you guys know, you know what that's about. So move forward with PT and start the walking on my own, and work up to a run. And said they're gonna, with as far as the PT goes, figure out the things that aren't gonna hurt versus the things that do hurt, and then work on the things that don't hurt it right now, and work up to whatever that looks like. So we'll see. It's a plan, but I don't have a lot of faith in these people. So I feel for you if you're in the process. I hope that some of this information, go back and watch the videos. They're not too long. They're very informative. I've given you everything that I can think of that is helpful. There are some things that I've held out because of legal reasons and stuff, but just because I question it and I don't know, I don't want to get me or anybody else in trouble. So I've limited that stuff. But as far as information on the process, what to expect, what you're going to see go down with all that, that's all in there in the series. So there shouldn't be any more big surprises that unless I'm just totally not aware of them. It should be it should be drawn out now what it is, what the rest of the process is, and how to achieve that. And unless somebody's wrong. So anyway, that's all I have to report. Still no contact with my work. They don't respond to. I'm required to check in once a week on a time and a day that was worked out between me and the assistant human resources gal, whatever her title is. I do that, but I don't hear anything back anymore. There's no back and forth communication line with them. I did get an answer to, I can't remember if I put it in the other video. I did finally get an answer from my attorney with these email messages that I was getting from Amazon or from the company or whoever it was coming from, this delivery team, about let's see, I've gotten some about 401k, I've gotten some about insurance with, open enrollment, which is a joke, because nobody can afford, they know that, nobody can afford that after you have stripped somebody of 2/3 of their wages. But then there were some other things that were like, we've noticed, the message was such as like, we've noticed you haven't delivered a package in 180 days, so there's an offboarding process, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, oh, they're going to let me go. Anyway, I sent all that information to my attorney, and I told him, hey, they're not communicating with me. Can you figure out if I'm still employed there or what's going on? So as a final answer, the way the words were worded, yes, there's a position for me waiting when I feel better. So that's the bottom line, if you will. None of the communication has gotten better. You better make sure that at your appointments you cover everything, because good luck getting anybody to give you any answers between appointments. So I did get my prescription changed, but I went by this to pick it up and it wasn't ready. So that did happen, but it didn't happen until he got back in town a month later, almost a month later. So nobody from his office would return my messages or my phone calls. I think I said that earlier, just to reiterate. So anyway, that's all I have for now. I'm feeling a lot better because we were hoping, like I said, to not have surgery. And right now it looks like we don't have to have surgery, so that's a good thing. I'll let you know how the PT is going, and looking for a brighter, better future. So if you walk by somebody out there, say hi and smile. They'll appreciate it. Catch y'all later.